All right, welcome to week 3 of the Bushland Falcon Media Coaches Show. We got Coach Reynolds back live with us tonight. But before I get into it with him, we started something last week with Monday morning quarterback kind of overreactions. And, last week we were overreacting to the fact that there was 96 points scored in the first 2 games and the sky was falling in the defense. But we also had the other side of when the last time that happened was 2017, which just happens to be the same year that we played December football. Well, now we're coming off of a week where the defense only gave up 11 points. So all is right in the world until you watch some of the film. And I'm sure there were still some things to critique on the film, but I have a feeling that there was a lot to like as well. So, Coach Reynolds, as we get into welcome, obviously, the Coach Show. But as you look back at Childress, what were some things you really saw you liked on Friday night?
Well, we like the win, number one. That's what it's all about. Like I said last week, it's, whether it's low scoring, high scoring, you blow somebody out, whatever it is, you want to win the football game. And you got to find different ways to win games, each and every week, each and every year. And but yeah, I mean, obviously, I felt like the defense played really good, played consistent all game. Yeah, there were some things we didn't do right at times, but what we saw a defense that played hard, that played physical, and that's what we wanted to see more than anything. We lined up pretty well. That's it seems like a pretty simple part of it, but it can be more challenging at times. And I thought defensively, we lined up well. Didn't have much confusion, and that usually leads to you playing hard. When you don't have to think as much and you're lined up right, you just go play and attack. We were really happy about that. So we thought the defense played really well and made big strides this week for sure.
When you say lined up right and they weren't confused, sometimes you think, well, they've been doing this since 7th and 8th grade, but though it's the same base formation, a lot of new concepts this year. And so it is some new things that our defense is having to process every week, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat a new defense. Obviously, Coach Holt, the defense coordinator this year, anytime you change coordinators or coaches, position coaches, whatever it is, I mean, there's going to be a learning curve for kids and for coaches, we have 2 new faces on the defensive staff, with Coach Block moving up and coaching on the defensive side as well. And then, the other part of that is you have new kids, when you had 21, 22 seniors last year, you have new faces. So you combine all that. It's the same thing on offense. And we're not exactly setting the world on fire offensively either. It's just a lot of that's why you play these games, before district, just to try to improve and learn and get better. And, I'm pleased. I'm happy with where we're at, but, not satisfied at all. But, we told the kids after the game, you play a good program like Childress. They were 2-0 football team that takes pride in the way they play, and dang sure takes pride in how they play at home. They don't lose a whole lot of games at home. And to walk out of there with the 42-13 win, we're very happy with that.
When we talked last week, we talked about one of the things the defense wasn't getting is maybe as much pressure as you'd like. Felt like Friday night we got a lot more pressure, a lot more consistent pressure. What were some guys that maybe stepped up that you liked? And were there some guys in different positions?
Yeah.
It felt like that we'd maybe seen some.
We had some different faces, different positions, and trying some different things. We feel really good right now about where we're at as far as that goes, as personnel, and kind of where those guys go and where they, fit for themselves. That allows them to help the team, like help the defense. So, we're still bouncing things around a little bit as far as that goes. But yeah, we got some pressure on the quarterback. Austin Ryder, he's a guy that he always kind of lives in the backfield. It seems like the last couple of years he did a good job. Charlie Easton, A.J. Marquez kind of moving different spots a little bit, doing a good job. And then we had, some other guys that I thought he didn't play a whole lot of defense, but Holt Humphreys did a little bit, showed up.
Yeah.
Ty Morris jumped in there. We're going to ask those guys to come in, and if they can rotate us and break us and keep guys fresh, I think that's what we want to do, and I thought those guys did a good job.
Holt is a big man that moves some people around, doesn't he?
He does. He played well, and he's a big athletic kid, and when he gets going, he's confident in what he's doing, then, he does a really good job for us.
So I know you said we're not where we want to be on offense, and obviously 40 points seems like a pretty good offensive production. Let's talk a little bit about some of the highlights. What are obviously guys like Cade Gavinia kind of coming into their own this year? What are you seeing from your passing offense that you're really? It seems like at moments things really begin to click.
I felt like Friday against Childress, we were very explosive. I mean, it was a really weird game. I felt like I was ticked off the whole game because we couldn't sustain the drive. We didn't really just execute. I didn't feel like it just drove the ball down the field, which is okay. The name of the game is scoring points on offense. And name of the game is scoring points on offense. And we did that, but I felt like it was big plays, which is good. But at the same time, we wanted to be able to drive the football down and execute. We started off, I think the first possession 3 and out, and then we came back, and DJ had the long run for a touchdown, bam, one play. And then we came back, and then I may have been Cade's first one. I can't remember. There was a lot of big one-play drives, but we felt like we got 2 up on them, 3 touchdowns up on them. We kind of wanted to, put them away a little bit in the first half, and we weren't able to just execute a drive and go do that. So that was the thing that I was frustrated about. I'm maybe too much of a perfectionist if you ask these guys. I don't know, but it's just not where we want to be. But that's good because we're still doing some great things offensively and putting some points on the board. And having explosive plays is one of our goals, something we want to do. But we also want to put together some drives when we need to and do that as well.
In the span of 3 plays you did, you had a 66-yard DJ touchdown run and a 64-yard Cade Gavinia, our lone local legend player of the game, touchdown pass. You're right. Looking back through it, we didn't have a touchdown shorter than 25 yards.
Yeah.
But, man, there were some good big plays in there.
Great, and you can look at stats as far as, one of the things that a lot of people look at is the battle of the explosive plays. And for us, kind of an explosive play is 20 yards or more. Yeah. If we can have 6, 8 of those, we feel like that gives us a chance to win usually. You want to have those explosive plays more than the other team, obviously, because usually those are either touchdowns or setting up a touchdown. And obviously, looking at that, a lot of those were touchdowns. DJ's run, Cade had 2 long touchdowns, the reverse pass. I can't remember Fetch's touchdown run.
36, and Austin Ryder's was 25.
Yeah, so that's great. But, again, from a coach's standpoint, we still want to be able to execute the offense and move down the field and score as well.
What are some things you're looking for from your running game? Because we did have a couple big plays with Fetch and DJ, but it felt like we also had a lot of 3-yard gains that maybe we're not – the passing game maybe isn't opening up the running game the way it has in the past yet.
Yeah, we're looking for that consistency. I think a lot of times, especially early in the season, I think your linemen are still learning pad level and how to play, lower than their opponent and how to move people. I think we're playing a little too high. We've talked about watching film this week. I think our offensive linemen are playing a little too high, and when you get too high, that defender gets underneath you. You can't move them. So, but I think we're getting better at that. Like you said, we want to average more than 3 yards a carry, preferably. What you want is a balanced offense, and in that means, not necessarily 50-50 run as far as yards and play selection, because that could change from game to game. If they're doing everything they can to take away the run, we may throw it more and have more yards, but you need to be able to throw it when you have to, and you need to be able to run it when you have to, depending on what the defense is giving you. And we want to see the running game better for sure. I think against West Plains we had 182 yards rushing. That was something we wanted, is to get over. I feel like if we get over 150, that's going to open everything else up and should give us a good chance to score enough points to win the game. The last 2 games we haven't done that. So we're looking for that running game to take the next step. Linemen to learn pad level, running backs to finish runs and make people miss sometimes. That's part of their job. We're not going to get everybody blocked, but sometimes as a skill guy, you're asked to make somebody miss in space, and we got to do a better job of that too.
And, I think sometimes we talk about the 21 seniors. Well, part of that is you replace 60% of your offensive line starters.
Right.
And so still early in the season for some of those guys that, though they got reps last year, maybe not the volume of reps that you're seeing this year. And so obviously great win in Childress. Always nice to bounce back after a loss. Very seldom. I don't know that we've lost back-to-back games in your tenure. So always good to bounce back. But as we turn our eyes to Borger, obviously it's homecoming week. How nice is it to have that parade on a Sunday now instead of Wednesday night, just for the flow of the week?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I don't mean this bad when I say this, but to get it out of the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because we enjoy it. I think since we started doing this parade, it's been a hit. It's been really good for the community. I mean, to see, I honestly didn't know for sure. I can't remember last year. I think we did it on Sunday evening, maybe.
Yeah, it was later.
And it was great. I wondered this year about Sunday at 2, if anybody would show up. And, sure enough, there's people out there, a lot of people. So I think it's really good, for the community and the school and the players to see the support that they have from the community. Because that's, we're represented our school and our community when we put those jerseys on every Friday night. And to have the backing and the support from the people here means a lot to the kids and the coaches, to be honest with you. So it was great to see that. And then, but from a coaching looking at it, it's also good to, after 2 o'clock, have that part out of the way and just focus on winning football games.
Absolutely. And obviously want to shout out to our booster club because they do an amazing job putting that on. But we talked about it last year, just how it made the week flow easier. I personally love Sunday because everybody got to come out.
Right.
You're not battling all the
Sure.
school and youth sports and all those things that the kids. It was cool to see all the kids. And man, Gym Line Road was packed. But now we head into, as we said, that part's out. You really get to turn your eyes towards a really good, I don't want to say, a really improved Borger team. Obviously, Coach Hamrick is an amazing defensive coach. I was talking to one of the Tascosa guys the other day. He said, "Did you realize we've averaged allowing 18 points a game the last 3 years? That's it."
Yeah.
So obviously, he's going to hang his hat on the defense. What are some things you're going to Borger looking for? I mean, obviously, we want to get off to a fast start. All those things that we know.
Right.
But when you watch Borger on film, what should we expect to see on Friday night?
Yeah, I think they're a much improved team. You watch, like you said, you watch the film, and I think on their defense, Borger's defense, I think they're very aggressive. They seem sound. They tackle well. They run to the ball. They're physical. All the things you look for in a good defense, They like to kind of bring some pressure and blitz and kind of make you make mistakes, but they're sound doing it. There's some defenses that just do that because they can't do anything else and just blitz. Why not? That's when anybody can say up in the stands, blitz somebody. But they do that. They like to bring pressure and put pressure on you, but they're sound in the way they do that. They do a great job of that. And offensively, their quarterback, running back are really athletic kids that we're going to have to make sure we tackle well, contain, prevent the big play, and make them snap it again.
I was a little shocked after spending 11 years with Coach Plunk in the wing tee that he didn't take the wing tee with him to Borger.
I was thinking he might do that, but I guess the coordinator he hired decided to do something different, and their kids have been doing that for a little while anyways, the spread stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe thought that would just be the best thing, at least for right now, for sure. But they're a very good opponent that we need to respect for sure.
Coming off a big win.
Yeah, I mean they're doing a great job with those guys, and we better be ready to play.
So, as we head in, we get back-to-back home games, which obviously we've spent a lot of time on the road. How nice is it do you settle back into a rhythm at home that maybe it's hard to get with those 2-hour bus trips?
Yeah, I think our kids honestly they're used to traveling. If you ask any of our baseball kids from last spring, they travel quite a bit. So I don't think travel really bothers us. I mean, and I think our kids handle that stuff well. But it is nice to play at home. I think we play really well at home. We feed off our crowd. We feed off the fact that we feel like it's a home field advantage. And
No doubt.
We love playing at home for sure.
Homecoming, all the festivities, we expect a packed house. Let's talk about one aspect of the game that you just mentioned is the home field advantage, because not only do we have some of the best fans, but we've got the pride of the Panhandle, the Bushland Falcon Marching Band. How nice is it to have a band like that literally brings so much energy? Because some bands we see when we travel, I mean, because they travel too, and they bring so much energy. When that drum line hits the beat for them to walk out, how big is that?
Oh, it gets us fired up. I'm sure there's some bands out there that they just show up to the football game because they have to, because that's what they're supposed to do. I feel like our band, ever since I've been here, going, Mr. Bennington, Mr. Diamond, they're part of it. I mean, they're part of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much that goes into a Friday night that people don't realize. You know, workers and gatekeepers and clock keepers, because I have to get those people settled in every week. You know, then you have the cheerleaders and the band, and there's just so much that goes on a Friday night that people don't understand and involved in. But that's the great thing about it, that it's just such a big event, a big community event. Our bands, for sure, specifically what you're talking about, they do an awesome job. You know, I don't hear much, you know, with the headsets on and being involved in a game. I don't hear anything, but occasionally, you know, in big parts of the game, I can hear the band revving up. You know, I know 2 weeks ago at Canadian, second half, we kind of started making our comeback. We cut it to 10. All of a sudden, right behind me, I hear the tomahawk chop going, and we're getting it, man. I'm thinking right then, I said, we're fixing to get these guys. So, I mean, Mr. Bennington's always asking, hey, what can we do? What can we play with? I said, just keep playing, man. Just crank it up. They do a great job, and we're very appreciative of them for sure.
You know, that West Plains game, opening kickoff, they started with Earthquake, and it was cool to see and I hope they continue that. Coach Rankin's been asking for that for years. He's like, we need to do that, and I guess he finally got it going. But we're going to take a really quick break, hear from a couple of our sponsors. We started something last week where we asked Max some questions. They were like, you need to ask Coach those questions. So I'm gonna fire a couple rapid response questions just so people get to see the non-football side of Coach Reynolds. But we'll be right back.
Danny Richburg of Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of the Bushland Falcons, our school, and our community. As a financial advisor, he wants to know what is important to you. Not everyone has the same goals, aspirations, and plans for the future, and that's okay. Whether you're focusing on retirement, a loved one's education, your lasting legacy, or a trip around the world, he would like to help. If you're serious about your investments and understand that it takes a plan, but you don't have a plan, you need to visit with Danny. Whether that's across the desk, at your kitchen table, or on the phone, he's available for his clients. So give Sarah a call at his branch office at 806-352-2980, 806-352-2980, and set up a time to meet with Danny. New Vision Exterior Solutions is a proud sponsor of our Bushland Falcons. At New Vision Exterior Solutions, they take pride in and are committed to their work. With an increasing number of successful projects under their belt, they can proudly say they are one of the most trusted seamless gutter installation companies in Amarillo, performing both residential and light commercial work. New Vision Exterior Solutions can handle all of your gutter needs, including removal and installation, hail damage, wind damage, and leak guards. New Vision can also stain new and old fences and make those old fences look new. So give Brock Hall a call at 806-517-0533 and let New Vision Exterior Solutions provide a free estimate. AA&A Windshield and Glass is a proud sponsor of the Bushland Falcons. We are your one-stop shop and we'll get it done right. We are a family-owned and operated business for over 35 years, and we specialize in windshield replacement installation and rock chip repair. We offer scheduled appointments in our shop, or we'll come to you with our mobile service. Call us today at 806-353-9119 or fill out our contact form at aawindshieldglass.com to get started. See clearly with AA&A Windshield and Glass.
No one said living here was simple. They just said it was worth it. This land wasn't easy to settle. More than 30 years in business will teach you that. Her elements are fierce and forceful. Amarillo can take anything thrown her way. Your body shop should too. Loki's Body Shop, built for Amarillo.
All right, we're back here with the Bushland Falcon Media Coaches Show, and we promised some rapid-fire questions for Coach Reynolds. So, Coach, what's your favorite movie?
I think my favorite movie is Tombstone.
That is a good one.
Tombstone is one that I could go, drives my wife crazy because we'll be watching it and I can quote every single word, and she's like, are you just going to say the movie? But Tombstone's my favorite movie, or anything with Will Ferrell or Chris Farley in it. I'm a sucker for that type of comedy, that kind of slap comedy, whatever you want to call it. But I like those two guys, and but as far as one movie, it'd be Tombstone.
So if you're a betting man, has Cade Cavina seen Tombstone?
I'm going to say yes. Have you seen Tombstone? No?
No. Man. Favorite candy?
Favorite candy? I'm not a big candy person as far as just going in and getting a candy bar, stuff like that, but I do have a sweet tooth for like desserts, cakes, and I don't know if I have anything in particular, but any type of dessert, any type of cakes or anything like that, I love.
You're not sneaking candy into the movies?
No, not that at all.
So when you're not coaching football, where will we find Coach Reynolds? What are some of your hobbies?
It depends on who you ask. If you ask my wife, I'm with the golf course probably. I do love to play golf. Not very good at it, but I like to play. So I really enjoy that, and I enjoy my time with my family, taking trips and going places and doing things. Just, as much time as we spend away from our families, those trips are the kind of memories and moments that you remember.
And then if you could choose one song to play every time you walked in the room, what would Coach Reynolds' theme song be?
Man, you put me on the spot on this one. You didn't give me a heads up on this one.
That's what makes this one fun.
Oh, I don't know. I won't say it, just a couple of joking, just kidding around about it, but I don't know. Like to describe me or just in general?
Just in general.
If I was just playing a song, the kids are going to know exactly. They're going to probably say something Metallica because that's all I ever play in the weight room or on the field. When it's my turn, when I plug in my phone in the weight room or during practice, it's always Metallica. So I guess Metallica.
Over the years, we've had some interesting bus ride music that you've obviously heard. What are you hearing on the bus these days?
I don't know. The stuff they listen to, I tell them it's garbage. It's terrible. But I just told them as long as they keep it clean, bleep out the if there's any bad words or anything like that. But the type of music most of the time that I would hear from the kids or on the bus or in the locker room really is, I guess, rap.
The year it was ABBA, who started that, just out of curiosity? Because when we listened to it in the locker rooms, I want to say that was... I mean, it became a thing.
19
Yes.
football season. I think it was 2019 football season with Coach Thomas's last year.
Yes.
In that group, Jared Thomas, Jackson Espy, Skylar Jaco, those guys. I don't remember who started it or why it started. I thought it was a little strange, to be honest with you.
I did too.
But it just came kind of one of those things where they played it and we were winning. They played it in the locker rooms, and it just kind of became our theme. And
when you're winning, you do not change it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to change anything. I was going to let them blare it after the game as long as we won.
There you go. Well, Coach Reynolds, thanks for taking time. Obviously, look forward to Friday night, getting to Borger, getting to homecoming. And we'll be right back, and we'll get with our local legend player of the game, Cade Cavina.
Hope Choice is a faith-based, pro-life organization that assists women facing an unplanned pregnancy by providing free pregnancy tests, sonograms, educational classes, and baby supplies. Hope Choice is also helping young people and parents by taking a stand against society's influences that are threatening today's families. By offering free mentoring programs to young people ages 8 to 18, retreats, and character building presentations for students in the schools, Hope Choice is changing culture one heart at a time. Learn more about the mentoring programs, events, how to volunteer, or become a financial partner by visiting hopechoice.com. That's hopechoice.com.
The Bushland Falcons are a symbol of excellence in all athletics, so when the Falcons take the football field, there is no room for error. Vanessa McDonald with Lyons Realty feels the same way about her job. As a real estate professional with almost 20 years of experience, Vanessa knows there's no room for error when it comes to your real estate goals. Fortunately, Vanessa's real estate experience, understanding of clients' needs, forward-thinking company behind her, and her love for the Bushland community all combine to form a winning team for her clients. So give Vanessa a call today for a free market analysis on your home at 806-336-7885. Once again, that's 806-336-7885. And as always, go Falcons.
Whether you need a building to grow your business or you simply need more space for a backyard workshop, look no further than Tightwire Construction. Kurt and his team will get you the most out of your metal building and take pride in exceeding your needs with great customer service. To talk about your next project, give Kurt a call at 806-683-6842 or visit tightwireconstruction.com. And as always, go Falcons!
The Bushland Falcons are a symbol of excellence in all athletics. So when the Falcons take the field, there is no room for error. Vanessa McDonald with Lyons Realty feels the same way about her job. As a real estate professional with over 20 years of experience, Vanessa knows there's no room for error when it comes to your real estate goals. Vanessa's real estate experience combined with a forward-thinking company behind her makes for a winning team for her clients. Give Vanessa a call for a free home analysis at 806-336-7885.
All right, welcome back to the Bushland Falcon Media Coaches Show. Sitting here with our local legend, player of the game, Cade Gavinia. Cade, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
A little stressed out now that you already heard some of the questions, aren't you?
Yes.
So, obviously, you're coming off of, man, not just one big game, back-to-back big games. Talk to me a little bit about Childress. What'd you see that you just seemed like every time we needed a big play, there you were?
Yeah, when we got the play call in, and I knew I had a chance to get the ball on that play, and so I was really going on those, and just found a hole on that first one. Just got right over the linebacker, which is what it was designed to do. And then the second touchdown, it was we had never ran it before. We just had kind of practiced it a little bit, and I barely saw the play call. I almost ran the wrong play, but DJ relayed it over to me, so I got it in my head, got what I needed to run, and had a good block by Tanner downfield.
And you set it up well. That was a lot of credit for being patient there, because you look up and Tanner's not quite in position to get the block, but you know he's lightning fast. But so are you. If you get there too soon, Tanner doesn't. There's a lot of timing there. How much of that is just the fact that you two were like inseparable?
Well, I saw him downfield, and I saw him kind of run back to his guy after he was kind of looking back and seeing what was going on, and I saw him what we call like two-gapping him. And so I kind of got over, and I was debating whether to go, and then he kind of got out inside of him, and so then I knew just take off inside.
Now, you mentioned DJ and making sure you had the signal. How nice is it to have that experienced veteran? He never seems to get rattled quarterback that just makes sure that you always do have those calls.
Yes, it is nice because sometimes looking over at the sideline, especially on the far side of the field, being short already, can't see through the line or trying to see through Dawson to the coaches, but then he relays it over to me, and it makes it a whole lot easier.
Now, obviously, y'all have an amazing chemistry. I mean, we saw it in Canadian. We've seen it in Childress. How much of that also stems from the fact that y'all don't just play football together? I mean, you and DJ play year-round between football and baseball. How much of that happens just because of the chemistry that's there?
Oh, yeah. Since I came out here and learned Dawson was a baseball guy too, and we just kind of clicked immediately and built a bond, and have been going on it ever since.
You know, 3 catches, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those seem amazing. But a stat that absolutely blows me away, and I'm going to go away from football for a second. You went the entire season last year with 2 strikeouts.
Yes.
What is it? What kind of mindset does it take to be able to accomplish that?
Oh, gosh. I just didn't want the pitcher to have the satisfaction of knowing he struck me out, so just put the ball in play.
So when you get to 2 strikes, what are you thinking?
Choke up, put the ball in play anyway.
And how much of that competitive nature correlates back over the football field on Friday nights?
Oh, very heavily, like just wanting to succeed on every play, which obviously can't happen all the time, but it's nice when I can succeed with Dawson and the rest of the team.
Now, obviously, you play both ways. Spend a lot of time out there at corner. Offense or defense, which is your favorite?
Offense.
And how often, when you get the play call and you know it's coming your way, is there any nerves at this point, or have you just really settled into this is my role, I'm going to do my job?
Yes, this year it's been a lot different. I kind of just go out there and play and my nerves don't get too high. Like last year, I was really nervous whenever I got the chance to, but this year I've settled down and know who's getting the ball to me, and so I know I can trust Dawson.
Heck of a quarterback you got there.
Yes.
Now, who gets more excited after the touchdowns, you or DJ?
Oh, I don't know. When I'm running off the field, Fetch is always somehow like 20 yards on the field and like trying to fist bump me or something. But Dawson, we go talk on the sideline after.
There are times though that he almost chases you to the end
Chases
zone.
me down, yeah. We'll go watch film and I'm like, whoa, you got down there.
I'll tell you this, I was impressed with his wheels on the 66-yard touchdown run because we know you and Tanner are fast. That one, we just haven't seen that a lot.
Yeah, I was watching and I was like, this is going to be another Kermit because he kind of stumbled. And I thought he was just going to start falling for however many yards it was last year.
But, so here we are.
Culture, one heart at a time. Learn more about the mentoring programs, events, how to volunteer, or become a financial partner by visiting hopechoice.com. That's hopechoice.com.
The Bushland Falcons are a symbol of excellence in all athletics. So when the Falcons take the football field, there is no room for error. Vanessa McDonald with Lions Realty feels the same way about her job. As a real estate professional with almost 20 years of experience, Vanessa knows there's no room for error when it comes to your real estate goals. Fortunately, Vanessa's real estate experience, understanding of clients' needs, forward-thinking company behind her, and her love for the Bushland community all combine to form a winning team for her clients. So give Vanessa a call today for a free market analysis on your home at 806-336-7885. Once again, that's 806-336-7885. And as always, go Falcons.
All right, sorry about that. The beautiful thing of being able to host here at Mitch's is the fact that we get to be home and it's just right down the road and there's amazing food and you smell it all night. Only downside is that, man, sometimes our internet gets a little bit spotty out here. And so thanks for hanging and being patient with us. I'm going to start the list over just to make sure that people we didn't miss your favorite movie. So just remind people, what's your favorite movie?
Home Alone.
Home Alone, the Christmas movie. What's Kay Gavinia's favorite candy?
Candy. I don't eat candy often, but when I do, I go with Snickers, something chocolate.
There you go. And when you're not playing football, but I'm actually going to take baseball away. When you're not playing ball, when Kay Gavinia's not playing ball, where will we find you?
Ooh, either in my room playing the PlayStation, hanging out with friends, or watching something with my parents.
And Dad coaches, right? Mm-hmm. So do you get very many opportunities? Obviously, your schedule stays full with sports. Do you get very many opportunities to watch him coach?
No. This week I will. They play Thursday, but other than that, not much.
Caprock, right?
Yes.
So, and then if you could choose, well, here was the question. Oh, if you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, what would you choose and why? But since we've stretched you out here, what would Miss Howard pick for you if she was picking a walk-up song for Kay Gavinia?
A Taylor Swift song.
A Taylor Swift song.
She loves Taylor Swift.
Anyone in particular she makes you listen to a little more than the others?
I think Style. I think it's what it's called.
Did you ever think you'd be jamming Taylor Swift?
I mean, with my mom, when I was little, we did a little bit, so I know some of the songs, but she's like getting them engraved in my head now. So.
Well, Kay, thanks for taking the time to come out and join us. Let me ask you one more question. What are you looking forward to most about through the rest of this season?
Through the rest of the season, just creating more bonds, unbreakable bonds with this team, and enjoying every second of it.
Man, we enjoy watching you. Man, especially this year, you've really come man, we know that when the ball gets in your hand, you're liable. We better be ready because it's liable to be a big play or go to the house. And so it's just exciting to watch you. So thanks for taking the time to come on today. We'll be right back after a quick break.
AA&A Windshield and Glass is a proud sponsor of the Bushland Falcons. We are your one-stop shop, and we'll get it done right. We are a family-owned and operated business for over 35 years, and we specialize in windshield replacement installation and rock chip repair. We offer scheduled appointments in our shop, or we'll come to you with our mobile service. Call us today at 806-353-9119 or fill out our contact form at aawindshieldglass.com to get started. See clearly with AA&A Windshield and Glass.
No one said living here was simple. They just said it was worth it. This land wasn't easy to settle. More than 30 years in business will teach you that. Her elements are fierce and forceful. Amarillo can take anything thrown her way. Your body shop should too. Loki's Body Shop, built for Amarillo.
Adobe Wall Stoneworks, Justin Howe here. Listen, I can't believe it, but this year we're going to celebrate our 20th anniversary. The Texas Panhandle has been such a support for our little business, and we're so thankful. Amy and I have been dreaming about this design center for years. We want you to come check it out on Hillside. Go check out our website, adobewallstoneworks.com. Just like you go make a dinner reservation, you can click and make a reservation for a private design consultation in our indoor showroom right here on Hillside. Come check it out, Adobe Wall Stoneworks.
Hope Choice is a faith-based, pro-life organization that assists women facing an unplanned pregnancy by providing free pregnancy tests, sonograms, educational classes, and baby supplies. Hope Choice is also helping young people and parents by taking a stand against society's influences that are threatening today's families. By offering free mentoring programs to young people ages 8 to 18, retreats, and character building presentations for students in the schools, Hope Choice is changing culture one heart at a time. Learn more about the mentoring programs, events, how to volunteer, or become a financial partner by visiting hopechoice.com. That's hopechoice.com.
The Bushland Falcons are a symbol of excellence in all athletics. So when the Falcons take the football field, there is no room for error. Vanessa McDonald with Lyons Realty feels the same way about her job. As a real estate professional with almost 20 years of experience, Vanessa knows there's no room for error when it comes to your real estate goals. Fortunately, Vanessa's real estate experience, understanding of clients' needs, forward-thinking company behind her, and her love for the Bushland community all combine to form a winning team for her clients. So give Vanessa a call today for a free market analysis on your home at 806-336-7885. Once again, that's 806-336-7885. And as always, go Falcons. Danny Richburg of Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of the Bushland Falcons, our school, and our community. As a financial advisor, he wants to know what is important to you. Not everyone has the same goals, aspirations, and plans for the future, and that's okay. Whether you're focusing on retirement, a loved one's education, your lasting legacy, or a trip around the world, he would like to help. If you're serious about your investments and understand that it takes a plan, but you don't have a plan, you need to visit with Danny. Whether that's across the desk, at your kitchen table, or on the phone, he's available for his clients. So give Sarah a call at his branch office at 806-352-2980. 806-352-2980 and set up a time to meet with Danny. New Vision.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Show. I asked Cade to hang out for one more segment because I thought, you know what, why have him here? Let's talk a little bit of baseball. So obviously last year was a unique season. You spent the entire season on the road. What was that like as a team? Because obviously you got to spend even more time with your team because of the bus rides to practice and everything.
Yes. Well, it was definitely weird. Never thought that would ever happen. Not having a field and having to sometimes when Emerald, like before playoffs, when we went there every day, we would go to the practice field, it was nice to get out on the field. But then other days we were in the barn and we had to make what we could out of the practice.
Now, obviously, we did graduate a big piece. Josh Bass, very talented, going on to play college ball, but only graduating one senior, which is unique a lot of times, because you've been around long enough to see the turnover. Obviously, high expectations coming into this season. What should we look for most out of this Falcon team this year?
Well, I do think Josh left a really good example for us underclassmen to fulfill this year. Even though he was one spot, it was a big spot to fill. And so we have a little bit of an example, and we can work together and overall.
How big was it on any team? Because you play on a lot of different ones, especially in summer when you get ready to travel. How big is it just to have that guy like Josh, that especially get to the playoffs, game one, you know who you're handing that ball to?
It was actually very nice because actually me and Josh played when we were little too. Even though he's a little bit older, I always played up. So I knew him, and I was like, when I found out he was coming out here, I was like very happy, and just playing baseball with him over the years, and I knew he's a playmaker, and when we needed something done, he could step in and get the job done.
And then obviously don't see much drop off, because when you get to hand the ball to Cannon Melvin in game 2 and DJ in game 3, now obviously Cannon will become that ace. How in our classification, a lot, and we see a lot, especially when we get to playoffs, most teams have one, maybe two arms.
Yes.
How nice is it to have the depth of arm talent that you have on your team?
Yes, it was very nice, especially last year with Josh, and so now we have Cannon, Cole Warren.
Yeah.
He'll be really good. I saw him in practice for playoffs. We would throw live BP, and Cole would get up there, and he's really good. He actually struck me out. And then we have Dawson, obviously, and then me, maybe, in a dire need. And then we had some of the young guys come with us last year who looked pretty good.
Speaking of Cole Warren, he's not a lifelong catcher, is he?
No.
But, man, he stepped in and filled a hole
Yes.
there for y'all last year.
Yes, we definitely, before the season, when Eli had left, we knew we had to find a catcher, and then Cole stepped up, and he was willing to learn it, and he did get really, really good throughout the season.
When I talked to him in the playoffs, I never would have guessed, because he was so solid behind the plate. For us, we try to cover as many games, but really, with y'all on the road the whole time, it's hard to really get to till district in playoffs. But, man, by district, he was already – he looked like he'd been doing it forever.
I know. It was he definitely worked really hard at it, and he almost perfected it. Like, I knew we could trust him behind there.
Now, you've played a lot of positions through the years, and even on this team, one of the things that Coach Love always talked about was the versatility. How many of you could do different things? What's your favorite position on the baseball field?
Ooh, I started when I was little in the outfield. Then I think it was freshman year was the first year I played middle infield. But I think I'm going to go with outfield, just because getting the chance to go chase those balls in the gap down, those are really fun.
So, Coach Espy, if you're listening, Cade wants to log some innings out in your outfield this year.
Yes.
Because you got a lot of really good outfilders, a lot of talent all the way up and down. So, is there anybody you got circled on the calendar in baseball? Like, do you want Wall again? Is that really one of the?
Yes.
Obviously, short of the state tournament, because let's be honest, those are the aspirations.
Yes.
But is everything built to get to Wall, to get through Wall?
Yes. Definitely want to go one step further, get all the way, and see what we can do.
Well, thanks for hanging out a little bit longer. Obviously, we've said all along, one of the things we liked about coming to the Coaches Show and being able to go live is we want to be able to talk other sports. And so, obviously, I'd love to get you back in the spring. I have a feeling that we'll be talking to you again by the end of the year. At the rate you're going, this probably is not a one-week local legend player of the game, but I also want to give a huge thank you to Landon Ware and his team at Local Legend Outfitters, great supporters of Bushland Falcon Media that let us honor our student athletes like Cade, who just coming off of, once again, what was 178 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Sure.
Nice bounce back. How nice was it to just obviously just to get back on the field and take out some frustration on somebody?
Oh, yes. That week of practice was the longest week so far just because we are so anxious to get back out there.
You know, Parker and Logan and a couple of them ride back. Colton Strickland were riding back from Canadian with us. And I told them, I said, I would not want to be the coming back from Canadian, I said, I would not want to be the JV this week in practice. So.
But it paid off. It's good having them because now they'll come down when we're on defense, and they go hard, and it helps us a lot, helps us up front.
Okay, thanks for hanging out a little bit longer, talking some baseball with us. And we'll be right back after a quick break from our sponsor with Chris's Big Close.
AA&A Windshield and Glass is a proud sponsor of the Bushland Falcons. We are your one-stop shop, and we'll get it done right. We are a family-owned and operated business for over 35 years, and we specialize in windshield replacement installation and rock chip repair. We offer scheduled appointments in our shop, or we'll come to you with our mobile service. Call us today at 806-353-9119 or fill out our contact form at aawindshieldglass.com to get started. See clearly with AA&A Windshield and Glass.
No one said living here was simple. They just said it was worth it. This land wasn't easy to settle. More than 30 years in business will teach you that. Her elements are fierce and forceful. Amarillo can take anything thrown her way. Your body shop should too. Loki's Body Shop, built for Amarillo.
Procrete Construction is a regional concrete place and finish company designed from the ground up to give you solid professional service. Based in Amarillo, Procrete serves residential, commercial, and industrial construction industries. High standards of professionalism and quality are our benchmarks. We know your construction project requires a company that is equipped with the tools, knowledge, and experience to complete the work as promised with a focus on details. Call 806-318-3820 or go online to learn more about Procrete Construction at procretenow.com.
Melanie and Jeremy Scott with Texas Plains Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Realty support our Bushland Falcons on and off the field. As residents of the community, our school and students' success are important to us. A successful school drives home values and a strong sense of community, along with a desire to live in Bushland. To help further the community support, we have created a Bushland-only e-directory, which can be found at bushlandhomesandliving.com. Please visit our site and add your business listing for free.
All right, we're back here. Chris Welch sliding into his seat here. Man, how different was that ride home from Childress and Canadian?
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot different discussion on the way home than what it was the week before, for sure. I thought the Falcons came out and they looked different. You know, the defense looked really different. We talked about that during the game about how they looked different.
You know, and one of the things that we talked to Coach Reynolds about earlier was, you know, one of the goals going in was to get more pressure on the quarterback, and it felt like we got more consistent pressure this week than we have maybe in the first 2 weeks combined.
Yeah, I felt we were a little conservative last week with Canadian.
Yes.
And then this week, just a different mentality going into the game. I think we felt, hey, we've got to get more pressure. We tried to pull back a little bit with Canadian, try to defend a little bit more, and that hurt us. And I'll say that's not who we've been. That's not to say that might not who we can become, but that's not who we've been typically. So it was really different for us to broadcast that game than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah. You know, one of the things Coach Reynolds also mentioned is it felt like the guys on defense were more confident. You know, though it's the same base defense, there are some schematic changes, some things that I don't recall ever going to a 3-3 stack before this year,
Right.
at least that I broadcast. And so there are some things that are different concepts off of that same base defense. But and when he said that, I thought, you're right. Like, we really felt like everybody knew exactly what their role was, and they attacked it.
Yeah, and change is a good thing, right? And you're not as predictable that way, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing something different, whether it's offense or defense, for the teams that you continually play, that's a good thing. That's to your advantage when you bring something new in. However, the guys have to learn something new, and so that is different. It's no different than, when Coach Reynolds started coaching his first year as head coach, my boys had always had, Coach Thomas had been there, and then now it's Coach Reynolds. While it's the same, it's still different.
Yeah.
Because he's going to bring a different way of thinking, a different process to that. Not a bad thing. It's just an adjustment period that does have to take place.
So obviously got a good bounce back win. Now we turn our eyes towards Borger, a different Borger team than when you and I made the trip to Borger, because obviously new coaching staff. Coach Hamrick, I gave this stat to Coach Reynolds earlier because I was talking to one of the Tascosa guys this week. In the last 3 years of him being the defensive coordinator at Tascosa, they have only allowed an average of 18 points a game over the last 3 years. So obviously a defensive-minded guy. What do you hope to see early from the Falcons, and maybe what should we expect from Borger? Because obviously they're coming off 2 big back-to-back wins.
Yeah. I was just pulling up their schedule again just to look at it. I was curious. So they gave up 19 points in the first game, and that was a loss. They gave up 0 points against River Road, and they gave up 12 points last week.
31 points in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so we talk about, what's he known for? Well, obviously he's got a defensive mindset from that, right? I do think you see a different Borger team. Borger's got talent there. I mean, they've always had a size. Size has never been a problem, I don't think, from a Borger perspective, and we've been around them for quite a few years. So I think what you'll see is a team that's maybe coming in with a lot more confidence.
Yes.
I don't think they've necessarily had a lot of confidence coming into those games against the Bushland, because Bushland's always kind of had their number for at least the last several years, for sure. But now I think you see a team that maybe walks a little bit different, walks with a little more confidence. They're coming in with the same record as we've got.
Yeah.
And I think they see a good opportunity to come in and play a great Bushland team and make a show. So I'll expect to see on defense they'll be a lot more confident on that field.
And it's amazing to even the confidence that our Falcons showed from and because that second half we talked about the second half in Canadian, it felt like a different football team. Like, obviously we spotted Canadian 35 points, but we had a lot of good things go our way in the second half. We cut the game to 10. Even Coach Reynolds said, you hear the fans, and he goes, I remember hearing the fans getting the tomahawk chop going. We cut the lead to 10, and you just felt like we're in this. But from the get-go, from the start, and maybe not the start, we went 3 and out on the first series, but how big was it to see your quarterback go out and take that 66 yards for touchdown for the first play of the game?
Yeah.
Or first score of the game, not first play of the game, first score of the game.
And we talked about that, I think, on the way home, too. I think what it shows is you're leading by example.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not giving up on you guys. You guys don't give up on us. Right? And so as a leader, and I'll say this, as a servant leader, one of the things you've got to do is sacrifice yourself. Yeah. And he said, I'll take this. And I don't think that was a selfish I'll take this. I think that was a let's go. I'm going to show you we're still in this, so let's go. And you just saw the confidence in the team just rise up when that happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about big plays. All of our touchdowns were of 25 yards or more. Obviously, offense looked very explosive on Friday night. Now, here's a question from a homecoming week, because you're obviously being a dad of 3 boys that have come through the program. How much different, because of all the things that go on homecoming week, how much different is it routine-wise for the players?
I think most of the time we did ours, it was that middle of the week,
Right,
parade
yes.
kind of thing. So moving it back to Sunday is a good move for them because it gets them more into the confidence. I'll say my boys are pretty good. They didn't really care one way or the other from a homecoming perspective. They knew that they had business to take care of for the most part. I'll say one of them may have been a little more distracted than the other one. I won't call them out on camera. But of the 3, one maybe a little more distracted. But I think these guys know. they understand what this means. They understand, you don't want to go goof off for a day or two, and you've worked all year to get ready to play football.
Yeah.
Right. And so it can be a little distracting, but to your point, routine's a big deal.
It is.
Right. So moving this back into a Sunday mode to where they do everything on Sunday, they get to stay in that routine, not having to dismiss early because they got to go do a parade or dismiss early because you got to do whatever. That's not going on. And now they can enjoy the whatever dress-up days there are, whatever the theme there is that day. They can do that during the day. But they know at 3:30 it's time to change to the pads and go do work.
Absolutely.
And they can keep that same schedule. So I think that is important.
And we said that with Coach Reynolds earlier. Just major shout out to Booster Club, who not only Sunday doesn't only because let's be honest, I know that not everything revolves around football during homecoming week because there are a lot of other things, but I love it also just from it's not a night where you're having to stay up late with all your kids or it's been a long day at work or school. It was Sunday just felt like a day that you really just got to hang out and spend some time. I love they added cornhole and the block party because you just got to hang out and eat some good food and spend some time with your neighbors. And the Booster Club does an amazing job, but I love the fact that it's on a Sunday because like you said, Monday morning it automatically turned to the task at hand, which as Coach Mayfield and Coach Reynolds always, Mayfield used to talk about and Coach Reynolds still to this day talks about it, everything is a build up to 7 p.m. on Friday. And you don't want to get too high too early or too, and everything builds to that crescendo at 7 o'clock kickoff. And I really felt like they did a good job in Childress where maybe we started slow in Canadian. It felt like we came out of the gate, got the defensive stop early, and then obviously DJ set the tone for the offense within first play of the second drive.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're not always the fastest start team in the past, more or less. But you can tell when we are that team that night that is getting off to that fast start, we just skyrocket every single time, right? And so those slow starts can sometimes get you down until you have something that picks you back up. I love to watch us when we take off right at the very beginning. When the Falcon takes flight from the beginning, I mean, it's soaring at that point, and it's a fun team to watch. But when you have a little bit of success, it breeds that confidence.
It does. So any final thoughts from Chris's big close here as we head into Borger?
I think we're going to continue. I think this is going to be another big statement game for this group. I really do. I think they're going to come out. They're going to build on that confidence that we had at Childress. I think you're going to see a new team, even different than what we saw at Childress. Let's get rid of some of those mental mistakes that we're making. We didn't play a perfect game. We won well, but we've got some work to do. So the preseason is exactly for that. You want to see the incremental build. I think you'll see it this week. I think you'll see the team come in. I suspect we're going to get off to a fast start. That's just my prediction. I could be completely wrong, but I think we get a fast start, and I think it'll just snowball from there on out. That's my prediction. I do think the Falcons win big this week. I don't think we're underestimating Borger.
Not at all.
If I had to guess, we know the coach there well enough, and we know their talent. But I do think we win big this week.
Well, we appreciate you tuning in. Obviously, grateful for Mitch's Barbecue here in Bushland. That is amazing host to us every Monday night. If you ever get a chance, come down and join us on a Monday night. You get to see Coach Reynolds, our local legend player of the game. Obviously, this week, Cade Gavinia, 3 catches, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and just really turning into that big play guy. We said it on the broadcast. We were like, you don't have a lot of plays in the book for 3rd and 18, but it's really at this point, what it's becoming this season is just throw to number 12 and let's see what happens. And so, which we had one of those. It was 3rd and 18 and 36-yard catch later. It's first down Falcons, and the drive continues, and we actually score on the drive. And so, another great week of football ahead of us. Tune in. By all means, it's a home game. It's homecoming. Come out, enjoy all the festivities.
Pack the stand.
But if you can't make it, or maybe you're a grandparent that lives further away, or family that can't come in, join us. Pre-game, that Contractors Wholesale pre-game starts at 6:30. Chris and I'll be on the call at 7, and we'll have the Falcons. Any final words?
No, just like I said, just come out, support the Falcons if you can, but we'll be there otherwise.